So what made you want to come on board Strange New Worlds?
The team. I mean, it's Star Trek, so I think that for a lot of makeup artists and people working in the film industry, that I remember even when I was in school taking prosthetics, a couple of friends of mine, students in the class, were like, oh, they're shooting a Star Trek in Vancouver, and I have a connection at one of the shops, so maybe we could all move there and rent a room together and like just sleep on the couch and on the floor, and then we can just like sweep up the shop for them in the prosthetic shop. So we were saying that too. I was like, I would do that to work on Star Trek. We were saying that while we were in school. So it was very cool, like a very full circle moment. First of all, when they started filming Star Trek Discovery in Toronto. I'm from Toronto. And I got asked to, I think I was like 23, 24, kind of starting out in the industry. And I got asked to join the team that would remove the prosthetics at the end of the day on the Klingons, like the first episode of season 1 of Discovery. And I was like, I made it. Like, not actually, because I could see all of the artists that they had that applied the makeups that are people that I had been looking up to. Of course, James Buchanan was the department head, and then people like the McCashes were there. I mean, so, like, yeah, I mean, every single person there was like, I knew their name. So that was really cool. And then when it came to Strange New Worlds, season 2, my very dear friend Olga Kirnos was the department head on it. She still is the department head on the show, and so I was like, of course, I want to work with you on an iconic show like this, and we had so much fun.
What was the most fun and/or challenging makeup for you from season 2?
I was just doing a podcast, and they asked a similar question, and I said, honestly, like every single episode on that show is one of the best shows that I've ever worked on. Every single episode is a strange new world and a new adventure and new possibilities when it came to the makeup. So I felt like every day at work was so creatively fulfilling. But to name a couple of specific ones, I got to do so much cool stuff with Jess. Jess is, she's one of the casts that I did throughout the season. And in the first episode, we had this fight that we were tracking, and so she got into this huge Klingon battle. And so she had all of these like little cuts on her. Some are bleeding, and they're getting like smudged, and she's getting tossed around. And then of course we never like film it in order or film it of course on the same day. It's all happening through multiple days. But she then got launched into space, came back onto the ship. She's all frozen now, so it's the same makeup design but completely frozen. So that was a lot of fun and a nice challenge. And then after that, we see her in the sick bay, and she's like starting to heal a little bit. So all of the cuts and little nicks are in the same place, but it's like slightly different. That was really cool. And then Yoshidi Badaki's makeup, like with the winged eyeliner. Yeah.
I actually like the Nurse Chapel things because obviously I love the big creatures. They're fun. But that wasn't a major character thing because she was traumatized by it. You were actually giving her a real world thing. So when you're thinking about making makeup, we got to make it real for the character because this is actually something any one of us could relate to.
Yes, absolutely. I think that is such a huge part of the makeup artist's job. It's not just for the audience and for the screen, but really helping the actors. Like they say this all the time. They look into the mirror and they're like, oh, now I'm the character, or like, oh, that, like sometimes they'll zone out when you're doing a makeup like that, like an injury makeup like that, and they're like, ooh, like then they've like tricked their minds into thinking that they're actually hurt, and they're like sensitive to like you putting the brush there. They're like, oh, I'm injured. So I think that it really does help them. It's definitely very much a part of the process for them.
Okay, I asked the same question of Christina, Ethan, and Melissa. What was your initial reaction when you found out they were going to do a musical episode where the Star Trek characters would be singing?
Just wanted. That was so much fun. Thank you for reminding me. That was like unbelievable. Because we were listening to so they all went, and sometimes we would hear them like rehearsing and practicing in their trailers. But we got to hear the songs recorded once we got to set, and so we're all just like sitting on set watching the monitor and like hearing their voices. It was just so funny because we never, I don't know, like, yeah, we just had never heard them sing before, so it was funny to be listening to their voices and just like seeing them dance, and especially Spock because of his character. Like it was just so fun and like happy.
But also very dramatic. The songs weren't just fluff.
Right.
You know, they were,
yeah.
because Garcia's going through a lot, you know,
Yes,
Lon's
yeah.
going through a lot, Spock, and so was that kind of like, you're actually very
Yeah,
dramatic.
very emotional. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to remember now the episode, but yeah, and what is sticking out to me was the Klingon like boy band song. That was fun.
All right, so our last question, what's been your favorite makeup creature, alien, to work on?
I haven't done so much of that. I'm more typically in the straight makeup department, but I got to work on part of a team under Chris Bridges, who is actually the prosthetic designer on Strange New Worlds as well. But I got to work on his team during a show called The Lost Symbol. And we had a character where he was fully tattooed, head to toe, and like he was wearing varying levels of costume. So sometimes we'd see more skin, and there were like 5 artists sometimes all working on him, and it was like a mathematical equation, like it was like physics, mapping it out around the curves of his body, and getting that all to be one cohesive tattoo. That was a really cool. I remember working on that, and I was like, this is so cool that I get to be a part of this.
It sounds like Star Trek is something where every week is different. It's not like, oh, you've learned something new. It's not something I'm just settling into what I'm going to do, and
Oh,
it's
no.
a 20. You know, I'll do it for a few seasons. It
Yeah,
seems like
thinking
every
about
week
the
you have to
next
totally reinvent the
episode.
way you approach makeup.
Absolutely, yes. And I did get to do like assist on a Klingon makeup on Discovery, so that was pretty
gotcha.
epic. Yeah.